Thank you very much for joining the conversation this morning. It is indeed time to get talking. Blyden joins the conversation this morning, looking sharp as always. How was the weekend?
So good, wonderful. Weekend was fabulous for me.
Oh, good. Yeah. Chelsea was also part of that weekend.
I agree. Oh, it was fabulous result. You have to give great credit to Brentford.
Oh, well, so additional credits now.
Of course.
All right. So since we're additional credits, I think we should start with tennis and dish out the credits deserving and necessary to the 20-year-old Polish woman who set to rise to the WTA rankings later today when the latest rankings are released. We're talking about Swiatek, following her run in Miami over the weekend, which culminated in her winning her third consecutive Masters 1000 title, joining an exclusive list that has the likes of Stefani Graf, Kim Clijsters, and of course not forgetting Victoria Azarenka, the last to complete what is now tagged the Sunshine Double, that is winning in Indian Wells and of course the Miami Open. What a weekend, Blyden.
It was a massive weekend, Brad James, especially for tennis. And I like the fact that it's always happening in the weekend, those final games. And for me, it was exciting. It was exciting because we had a new champ.
Yeah.
It was exciting because we affirmed the new world #1, Iga Swiatek, and all the effort, all the hard work seemed to be paying off. I was listening to Iga Swiatek talk about her position after she realized she was going to become a world #1. She said she cried for about an hour when she first realized that. And that goes to show a lot of work, a lot of tenacity, not a lot of effort that has come into this game for her. And for the Polish girl doing greatly and wonderfully, and a lot of Polish girls are looking forward to what she will bring in the near future. And in tennis, for me, it's very exciting from Iga Swiatek's point of view. And that's what we have to talk about. That's what you have to look at, the focus, the tenacity that she's brought in. Started the year with the first title and then went to Indian Wells, the same thing, and now in the Miami Open, winning the Sunshine Doubles. Seemed like the first time we're seeing a young lad like that do that at this level. For me, it's exciting, for me, it's wonderful. It's the best you could think of and the best tennis we saw, especially when it had to be against Naomi Osaka.
Yeah, now let's talk about Naomi Osaka. This must mean something for her. You know, she leaves with her head held very high because she's beaten by the best player in the world. I wouldn't want to say Naomi was happy, but I think she was satisfied at some point, because looking at where she's coming from, the position she's playing before now, it was usually very difficult for Naomi. We remember at Indian Wells, we've talked about a time without number. I remember at Indian Wells when she was heckled by a fan and she started crying instead of playing the game. But we've seen a more resolute Naomi Osaka in Miami Open. We've seen the energy coming through it. We've seen the Naomi Osaka that we've always been looking forward to see. Performing quite well, managing her game and hitting those strokes as fast as possible you could think of. But sadly, it had to be an end for it. Well, a runner-up, not quite bad. I think it's a result she'll sit down, look at it and say, think of how to build momentum moving into subsequent competitions. Right, now, talk about subsequent, consequent tournaments for her going forward. Now, what does this mean for her? And how can she pick herself up looking at the kind of work she's put in Miami over the last 2 weeks and the results she's churned out here?
I think the work is being short. At some point, the first concern was basically about Naomi Osaka participating in games. We saw, remember, after 2018, got to 2020, performed quite well, winning Grand Slams, then started having those post-match conference issues, suffered from depression at some point. And for me, it's good to have Naomi Osaka back and playing at the level she's playing. I remember at Indian Wells, she was basically talking about having those game time, and she's had it. We've seen it in Miami Open. She's playing quite well, and the results are coming out. I think from Naomi Osaka's point of view, if I were a coach, I'll be quite motivated by the performances so far in Miami Open, hoping that when we get to the clear competitions, Naomi Osaka will be her best, and who knows, she might rack up maybe one of the 1,000 events or 500, and name it, whatever event that's available for her. But good performances throughout, and I think she's going to do even better moving forward.
All right, now, when we told you the story of Stefani Graf, the likes of Kim Clijsters, and of course Victoria Azarenka, the only other players to have won the Sunshine Double, that winning at Indian Wells, the 1000 Masters event, and also winning on Miami Open. We didn't tell you
about Iga Swiatek becoming the youngest of the duo, because she's just 20, achieving this particular feat, and you'd say she's got the world ahead of her. She's got a great future ahead of her consistently, as I always say, if she keeps her head on her shoulder. Big ups to Iga Swiatek, and big ups as well to Naomi Osaka reaching the finals of this particular. Now, let's leave here for a bit and talk about the ATP stories this morning. And it's about another young person doing great stuff for the very first time in his career. Carlos Alcaraz can beat his chest and say, finally, victory at last. I am a Masters 1000 winner, and he did so in grand style of the weekend, beating six-seater Casper to that particular, becoming the first Spaniard in 9 years to win this particular one, and the second youngest. This has got to be some stuff made in the stars, Blyden.
We've talked about Alcaraz we can say all year round for me. So far from the beginning of the year, we've been talking about Alcaraz. We saw the performances last season too. During the next gen competition, played quite well, got to a particular level, was a little here, a little there, but we've seen the performances add up. Good play for me. We've talked about Alcaraz, and if there's a player you have joy watching, it has to be Alcaraz for me. For me, I'm quite happy that Alcaraz was able to win this one. You know, I have a soft spot for Alcaraz because the performances have been coming. My world number one in the nearest future that I've been talking about. Exceptional tennis player for me. It's all about the energy. It's all about the tenacity. It's all about everything you could think of. Look at Kasparov showing class, but Alcaraz bringing in that resoluteness, bringing that energy. He's the youngest to win it in Miami in the history, and that means a lot. For me, being a 1000 Masters winner shows class. It shows that the future is bright. It shows that he can bring in a lot into the game. And moving forward, just as everyone is talking about the potentials of Alcaraz, we really hope that he sustains it and plays quite well the way he's playing, building this momentum game after game after game, and getting to become probably the best in the world.
Right now, you look at Alcaraz, sometime, a few days ago, I remember we talked about, his movement. He's got to be the most improved player on the ATP. This time last year, he was ranked 327 in the world, and now we understand he's set to rise to a career high ranking of number 11 in the latest ATP rankings is released. This is momentous.
It shows what talents can do. One, it shows what hard work can do. Because you look at Alcaraz, it's all about a bundle of talent. I think since Rafael Nadal, I have not seen any young lad perform the way Alcaraz is performing. And the beauty about Alcaraz is the fact that he doesn't stay back, he doesn't hold back. He brings everything to you, whether he wins it or not. That's the beauty about Alcaraz. Seems like the fans' favorite at this point. And who wouldn't be happy to sit, watch Alcaraz play? The energy, the shout, everything you could think of, the excitement that comes with this game, and it has to be Carlos Alcaraz. A Spaniard. Good. The good thing about stories like this, right, James, is always a motivation it gives to the younger generation, because if Alcaraz can do it, there's a young lad in Spain, a young lad in Nigeria that trying to participate in tennis that could think to himself or herself and say, I'm a big Alcaraz fan. If Alcaraz can do it, maybe I can do it. Such motivation. And it's what it is in football. Not football now. In tennis, I love this kind of stories for me. But I have some fears for Alcaraz. I don't know how long he can consistently be bringing this level of energy, because at some point fatigue will come in. I love to see how Alcaraz manages this game. But right now, I'm enjoying every bit of it. I'm excited about what's happening. I'm a number one Alcaraz fan right now.
For those who have not really followed Alcaraz, and of course don't really know much about his game. Now, what's the striking thing about Alcaraz? What's different? What's a different thing with Alcaraz with regards to his game? What's that unique feature in his game that stands him out of the chasing pack?
I don't know, but I don't know who told him he might be the best in the world. Probably because he's been following Rafael Nadal, because when I watch him play, he seems to not care about anybody he's facing. He's coming in with such energy. It's a belief thing for me, more like he has this strange belief that he can rule the world. Look at the way he's walking on the court. You realize that's a movement that tells you I'm the best in the world. It's just a matter of time. And you could see the energy and the way he attacks, the way he plays the strokes. It's all about that momentum for me. That's the energy. He knows us young. He pushes you all out. And you look at it, look at the numbers. It's usually 7-6, 7-5. It shows that while he's attacking you, he's also making mistakes. He's young. Time will tell. And look at the cheers from the fans. They're excited. This is how tennis should be. The energy all around for me. The energy all around for me. The attack all around for me. The strokes all around for me. That's what you ought to see. And that's what Alcaraz brings to the table. It's exciting. Imagine the energy around the court right now, right, James?
Yeah, well, he had lots of traveling fans from Spain arriving here in Miami for this particular, including his coach Fernandez, you know, who hasn't been here with him all through this particular tournament following the loss of his father, Jorge, but he surprised Alcaraz, and you know, he was delighted as well. Family, everything, everybody
Who wouldn't want to
support Alcaraz. Now, congratulations to Alcaraz. Beyond winning his own, he's become the youngest winner in this tournament's 37-year history. And when you consider the quality of the opponent he took out to win this one,
Wow.
Casper Ruud, it definitely gives credence to the kind of work he's put in here.
I love it when he sends Kasparov to the market. Kasparov went to Tam market, went to Aba market, went to all the markets, came back and still couldn't get the ball. That's the beauty of tennis for me, and that's what Alcaraz brings. Wow.
Look at that. Look at that cross-court smash. You know, it definitely tells you the story, the confidence and the level at which this man is playing.
Look at the courts, the numbers, the energy, the screams.
Look at this guy. It's all for Alcaraz.
It's not being like this in a long while in tennis for me. Yeah. And that's the beauty of the young lad, the beauty of the future. I think everyone is seeing the future right now, seated there.
All right. Congratulations to Carlos Alcaraz. We'll be here, and I'm sure we'll have more time in the coming days and the coming weeks to talk more about the greatness unfolding for this young man. We're talking Carlos Alcaraz.